Hi guys, in this video, in this set of videos, we're going to be talking about how to solve for logarithmic problems. Okay, so now if I have a log here, how do I solve for x? Okay, one thing we have to discuss before we get going any further is the domain of a logarithmic equation. And when we talk about domain, we're specifically talking about the x values. What values of x are going to be acceptable for answers? And the big thing is, like with square roots, this number here can't be negative, right? And if I have a fraction with x on the bottom, this thing here, x can't be 0. Okay, that's what we're talking about with domain. And with logarithms, what we're saying is whatever is inside of here, that expression, whether it is an x plus 9, or a 4x, or an x plus 2, or a 6 minus x, or an x minus 4, whatever is inside the logarithm has to be greater than 0. Okay, so I'll put exp for that expression. That expression has to be greater than 0. So I don't care what the number at the bottom is. If you have log base 2 of x, that means this thing here, x has to be a number that's greater than 0 when we go and solve. If I had log base 4 of x minus 2, that means that the x minus 2 has to be greater than 0. And if I add the 2 to both sides, that means that the x has to be a bigger value than 2. Okay, that would be the domain. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go through these and I'm going to solve for x. And if I go through and I plug it into the original equation, I get a negative number inside of this, that's going to be an issue. So let's say I went through and I solved this problem later on, which I'm going to do in the second video. Let's say I solved this problem and I got x equals negative 20. Well, the problem is if I put a negative 20 plus a 9, that's a negative 11. And I can't do the natural log, I can't do the log of a negative number. In fact, you can try it here. Ready? I'm going to try to do the log of negative 11, and it's going to go, whoa, non-real answer. Non-real means it's imaginary. I got i's involved. Guys, we had enough of imaginary numbers first semester, didn't we? Let's not do it anymore, okay? Deal? So you can worry about that in pre-calculus and calculus if you ever want to deal with it, but really what's happening is we can't have that answer. One more problem, what happens if I have log base 17 of 6 minus 2x? So what I would do is I just say, you know what, that 6 minus 2x has to be something bigger than 0. And so let's subtract 6 from both sides. So negative 2x is greater than negative 6. Let's divide both sides by negative 2. And be careful, when you divide by negative, you got to flip the sign. So this becomes x. The greater than becomes a less than. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is positive 3. X is going to have to be a value less than 3 in the end. So we need to worry about the domain of the function first, okay? And as long as we understand that the stuff inside the parentheses there, or whatever comes after the logarithm, has to be a positive value, it has to be greater than 0, then we're going to be just fine as we go through and we solve these problems in the following videos.